So for today's topic, we're going to tackle about tuple or tuples. Now, previously we have discussed list. And if you already know what are lists, so the same lang din si tuple. The only difference is yung tuple mahirap baguhin or hindi na nababago yung mga contents inside. Pwede naman siyang mabago. There are some methods and techniques that we could do in order to change a content inside or a data or elements inside your tuple. Pero before we delve further into that type of topic, let us first discuss the possible objectives of this particular lesson. So number one, to be able to identify or comprehend what is tuples in Python. Number two, to be able to differentiate what is the difference between a tuple and list, and why do we need to use tuples over list, since tuple has limitations na read-only lang siya at unchangeable. And what are some methods or commands that we have with tuples? And overall, practicing and understanding how to formulate your own tuple code or tuple syntax. So ngayon class, this is the introductory part. So we're going to tackle the basics about tuples. So tuples are used to store multiple items in a single variable. Tuple is one of the 4 built-in data types in Python used to store collections of data. With other 3 are the list, set, and dictionary, which we will also discuss, all with different qualities and usage. Now, a tuple is a collection which is ordered and unchangeable. What is the advantages of tuple over list? Now, tuples class are more memory efficient than the list. When it comes to time efficiency, again, tuples have a slight advantage over the list, especially when lookup to a value is considered. If you have data which is not meant to be changed in the first place, you should choose tuple data over list. Now, how to create a tuple? Tuples are written with round brackets. So, dati, we used to type in list, kailangan natin ng variable, syempre, and then equal sign, and then we enclose the elements inside of it using a square bracket. Pero this time around, if we were to create a tuple, first things first is we need to also declare a variable, like what you see here on my share screen. And then the elements inside should be enclosed by a round bracket or what you commonly known as parentheses. And then if you're using string, you could use double quotation or single quotation. And then if you wanted to print the whole content, then you're going to call the variable name, which is this tuple, and then type it and then print the name of the variable, which is this tuple also, and then it will print all of the contents like apple, banana, and cherry. Simple as that, right? Next naman, so here is just the output. Next naman class is yung tuple items. Again, tuple items are ordered, unchangeable, and allow duplicate values. Tuple items are indexed. Now, the first index has 0 and the second item has index 1 and so on. So, same lang din. It honors or it makes use of indexing method or indexing notation, same as what we do with strings or what we could do with arrays or what we could do with lists. So, ordered. When a tuple is said to be ordered, when we say the tuples are ordered, it means that the items have a defined order and that order will not change. When we say unchangeable naman, tuples are unchangeable, meaning that we cannot change, add, or remove items after the tuple has been created. Allow duplicates. Now, since tuples are indexed, tuples can have items with the same value. Tuples allow duplicate values. And how do we do it? Pwede po ba yun? So, paano yun? So, all you have to do, class, is again, declare a variable. Like, for this example, ginamit dito this tuple for a variable, equal sign, enclose in a parenthesis, and then include strings that you want to add. Like, for example, apple, banana, cherry, apple. So, sabihin, we have 2 apples or 2 similar items or elements inside our tuples. And this is still okay pa din. Same with list lang din, class. Okay lang din kahit may duplicate. Next. So, tuple length. So determine how many items a tuple has. Use the len, which stands for length function. So print the number of items in this tuple. So for us to be able to know the size of our tuple, what is the code? So for this particular for this particular activity, napakadali lang class, on using the same variable this tuple with the same elements inside, dun sa print function, or if once that you have typed the print keyword, create a parenthesis, inside the parenthesis, typed in len. And then sabi natin meron siyang parenthesis din, yung len or length function. So what the argument that you're going to write in this one is the name of the variable, which is this tuple. So print len this tuple, it will not print the content of your tuple, but rather it will print how many items you have inside or how many elements you have inside your tuples. Next. Next is the tuple items or data types. Now, tuple items can be of any data type. So, string, int, and boolean data types are also accepted as a data type that we could declare inside our tuple or tuple collections. So, in this example, meron tayo class tatlong tuples. So, we have the first tuple 1 has an element inside such as string apple, banana, and cherry. Tuple 2 has integers such as 1, 5, 7, 9, 3. And tuple 3 has boolean condition true, false, false. So, all of this are acceptable element format kay tuple. So, pag ipiprint natin sila, ang gagawin lang natin is sa baba, magdadagdag lang tayo ng print na keyword and then enclose in a parenthesis yung tuple na gusto mong i-print. So, for example, print tuple 1, print tuple 2, and then print tuple 3. Of course, they are enclosed in a parenthesis. Next. So, a tuple can contain different data types. Yes po, I have previously mentioned this before na pwede po na meron tayong string, meron tayong whole numbers, meron tayong with decimal numbers, at meron tayong boolean condition sa ating tuple, and even character. So, example naman nito ay isang tuple na may iba't ibang data type. So, we have the string ABC, a integer, positive integer 34, a boolean condition true, positive integer 40, and a string male. So, if we want to print this one, kagaya lang din yung ginagawa natin pag tayo ay magre-result ng output. If we want to show the tuple or we want it to be executed sa output, all you have to do is to add sa baba ng print and then enclose in a parenthesis the name of the variable, which is tuple 1, and you will have this type of output. Next, how to access tuples. So, you can access tuple items by referring to the index number inside square brackets. So, last time class, yung kaninang pinakita natin about tuples is how are we going to pakita ko lang sa inyo class So, pinag-aralan natin how tuples, again, recap lang, how it allows duplicates, how to add length, which will count how many elements we have inside, and then tuple items and how to access it. Next naman is what if we just wanted to show a particular element inside our tuple sa output natin. So, madali lang naman, same procedure as what we would always do with list. So, create a variable name. For example, this, ang ginamit natin ay, na variable name ay this tuple, and then with the elements apple, banana, and cherry. So, add a print keyword, and then inside a parenthesis, call the name of the variable, which is this tuple, and create a square bracket. So, ano po yung 1 na nakalagay sa square bracket? Sabi natin kasi they are based on index. So, if 1 yung nilagay natin, obviously, ang ipiprint niya is yung pang 1 sa index location, which is banana. Kaya banana yung pinrint kasi si apple ay 0. Okay? So, range of indexes. You can specify a range of indexes by specifying where to start and where to end the range. When specifying a range, the return value will be a new tuple with the specified items. Like for example, return the third, fourth, and fifth item. This tuple, we have apple, banana, cherry, orange, kiwi, melon, and mango. So, ito, range of index or indexing using a slicing method or whatever you prefer to call it. Ganito lang din, kagaya lang din ng diniscuss natin noon sa list. So, all we have to do is to to add a print function and then enclose in a parenthesis the name of your variable, and then is inside the square brackets would be the limitation or the range of index that you want to show. So for this example, we wanted to print only 2 to 5. So si 2 yung location niya. Alin ba yung pang 2 dito sa given na tuple element? So magbibilang tayo, apple is 0, banana is 1, and cherry is 2. So therefore, since 2 yung nasa unahan, ito yung start nung ating, yung nasa left side class, ito yung indication ng start ng ipapakita lang natin na element. So ang pang second po ay si cherry. And then yung sa right side naman, ito yung hangganan nung ipiprint niya na element. So dapat class ay si melon kasi si melon yung pang 5. Pero ang pagka dito sa right side, ang piniprint na niya is yung second to the last. So ang pinrint natin ay si kiwi. So again, bilangin natin, apple is 0, banana is 1, cherry is 2, orange is 3, kiwi is 4, at yung pang 5 ay si melon talaga. Pero since sabi natin, hindi natin siya sinasama, kaya ang ipiprint is yung pinaka latest na katabi ng dulo. So, ang pinrint natin na output or lumabas na output ay si cherry, orange, and kiwi. So, yun yung ginagamit natin with range of indexes. So, you can play around with ranging using the range of indexes. You can, pag halimbawa, si 2 lang, walang hangganan, ang gagawin niya, ipiprint niya lahat ng elements starting kay cherry. Ipiprint niya lahat ng elements hanggang kay mango kasi wala kang sinet na limitation. Pagka naman halimbawa 0 to 2, so ang piprint lang niya si apple hanggang kay cherry and so on. Next naman, change tuple values. Sabi natin, once tuples is created, you cannot change its values. So tuples are unchangeable or immutable as it is also called. But there is a workaround. You can convert the tuple into a list, change a list, and convert it back into a tuple. So, yun yung technique na gagawin naman natin, class, para from tuple, gagawin natin siyang list and then babalik natin siya ulit kay tuple. Kasi hindi na nga natin ma-change or mababago yung elements pagka tuple pa rin yung kanyang identity. So, for example, we have a variable. For the variable name, we just use x. And then inside x, we add the equal sign and then the parenthesis apple, banana, and cherry. So, I'm just arranging my computer table. Ayan. So, next naman, we added another variable, which is y. And then, naglagay tayo ng equal sign. And we use the keyword list to indicate na isa siyang list, hindi tuple. So, in-add natin or enclose inside a parenthesis naman, tinawag natin yung first variable na nauna, which is x. So, next, after that, y, inilagay natin yung y na variable, yung secondary variable, at naglagay tayo ng square brackets na 1. So, ibig sabihin nun, yung banana ang papalitan natin ng kiwi. So, ang ilalagay natin class sa condition na to, sa brackets na to, is yung index location nung gusto nating palitan or ma-replace. So, dito, ginawa natin is yung pang number 1, which is not apple but banana. And then, ilalagay natin yung value na gusto nating ipalit. So, naglagay tayong double quotation kasi string yung ipapalit natin, which is kiwi. So, ma'am, paano naman po pagka integer or float? So, madali lang, no need to add a single quotation or double quotation. All you have to do is sa equal sign, ilagay nyo lang yung value na ipapalit nyo. Once that na-declare nyo na to, pwede na ulit kayong bumalik or i-shift back yung elements inside as a tuple. So, how do we reintroduce it as a tuple na and no longer a list? So, what you're going to do is to type the variable x, equal sign, and then use the keyword tuple, and then call again the variable y. So, pag pinrint nyo siya, kiwi na yung value niya. And then, if we print x, ang bagong value na ni x ay magiging si apple, kiwi, and cherry. So, pag may pinalitan tayo sa tuple, automatically hindi siya mare-retain sa ganitong type ng syntax. So, mangyayari, mare-replace lang siya. Okay? So, next naman, how do we add items? So, once a tuple is created, you cannot add items to it. So, but there are some examples that we could do in order to change it. Kagaya nung pinakita natin class kanina. So, this time naman, so we have, for example, we have class a variable this tuple equals with the value apple, banana, and cherry. Now, this tuple, yung pangalan ng ating variable, that operator, and then we add the method append, and then inilagay natin kung anong value gusto nating i-append. Magkakaroon, once na tinry nating i-print siya, print this tuple, magre-return ito ng error kasi that is not allowed. But if we wanted to really add another value inside our tuple using the same technique as what we have done nung nag-replace tayo ng tuple values, ganun din yung gagawin natin para makapag-add tayo ng values. As you could see, class, kaya preferable si tuple kasi hindi ganun kadali or hindi ganun kabilis ang pagko-convert or pag-alter ng values once that it is already declared inside your tuples. Now, for example, we have here the variable again, this tuple, with the elements inside such as apple, banana, and cherry. So we have y as a variable, secondary variable, equals, we use again the list keyword and then call on the variable name which is this tuple. So, using that, sabihin ng process to, kino-convert natin siya or parang pinapakilala lang natin as a list na yung nakalagay na elements para hindi siya mapigilan. So, next naman, tatawagin natin yung secondary variable na y, use a dot operator, and then the method name which is append. And then, ilalagay natin sa loob ng parenthesis yung value mismo na gusto nating madagdag. So, again, class, yung append function, same lang din kay array at kay list. Pag tayo ay may inappend, usually yung inappend natin na to ay madadagdag sa last element, katabi ng last element. Siya yung magiging last element na. Next naman is we have to change back or convert back to tuple. So, what you're going to do is to type in this tuple, which is the name of your variable, equals, and then add the tuple keyword, and then inside the parenthesis is y. So, paano natin siya ipiprint? Madali lang. Just add the print function, add the print keyword, and then inside the parenthesis would be this tuple. And once that you print it, makikita nyo na dagdag na. So, nagkaroon na ng orange. So, ang output niya dapat ay magiging apple, banana, cherry, and orange. How do we add append method with our tuple? What we do is the same process. So, we also, with slight differences lang, ang ginawa natin ay yung variable natin na this tuple. So, skip natin ito yung error kasi class, hindi kasi natin pwede siya directly i-alter. So, ang ginawa natin, nag-provide tayo ng dalawang variable. So, the first would be this tuple na variable, and then the second would be the y variable. First, we have to change it into list in order to add another element inside your tuple. And once that we use, para magamit natin the append method, once that we could use the append method, we change it back na to tuple. So, once na tuple na ulit siya, so, ang mangyayari class is yung apple, banana, cherry, and then nadagdag na yung orange sa element. So, if we want to add other methods like append na pwede kay list, what we're going to do is to just change it into list first, and then change it back to tuple. And then, hindi kasi nakasama dito sa screenshot class yung last part, which is dapat class meron kang print and then tuple. So, para pag pinrint mo siya, ito yung lalabas. Kasama na yung bagong result or output. Now, loop through a tuple. We can add loop class in our tuple. If we can do it with arrays or list, it is also possible with tuples. Now, how do we do that or how do we apply it in our code? So, first things first is we created another variable or we need to create another variable. For this example, the variable name is this tuple with the values apple, banana, and cherry. Now, for x in this tuple variable, so this tuple is the variable, tinawag lang ulit natin, use the for keyword and then add x. And then in keyword, and then tawagin natin yung pangalan ng variable na this tuple. Now, we use the print again to print the new or to print yung bagong loop condition dito, print x. And then, ang lalabas ay apple, banana, and cherry. So, nakapaiba ng arrangement yung output niya. Now, loops are not just used for these simple functions. It has also other uses. And since we are just in the introductory part of list and tuples and arrays, we're not going to impose much functions of how we could materialize loop with other built-in structures that Python has. So, the next slides, it will just show additional methods that we have with tuples. So, count and index. So, meron tayo nito class sa list. Sa count sa list, it counts how many elements we have inside our list. This time naman, yung count method dito, it returns the number of specified values that occurs in a tuple. And then yung index searches the tuple for a specified value and returns the position of where it was found. So here is the code. So return the number of times value 5 appears in this tuple. So this is our example. So we have this tuple 1, 3, 7, 8, 7, 5, 4, 6, 8, 5. So ito yung kanyang values. And then x, yung ating another variable, equals this tuple, dot operator, and then add the method count. Then inside the argument, it should not be the index location, but rather the value that we want to count. Like for example, if I add 5, so may 5 dito, hindi yung index location na nasa 5, kundi yung mismong value na 5. So kung halimbawa, puro strings ito class, yung nasa loob ng argument, yung mismong string na nasa loob ng element. And then bibilangin niya kung ilang beses siya naulit. Pero kung isang beses lang siya naulit, pag pinrint nyo class, 1 lang yung lilitaw. Pero dito kasi sa case nito, yung 5 sa loob ng tuple na to ay merong dalawang identical na 5. So pag kinount natin si 5 and pinrint natin si x, ang magiging value niya na i-return ay 2. So sabihin, may dalawang magkamuka or identical na tuple element sa loob. So si 5 twice. Okay, another example, dito naman ay about search the first occurrence of value 8 and return its proposition. This time around, we're going to use indexing naman. And what is index? So, index method searches the tuple for a specified value and returns the position where it was found. So, for this example, we're going to use the variable this tuple with the following values. And then another variable x. So, any variable would do class equals this tuple and then that operator and then add the method. Sorry, the other one. So, pero ganun din kasi class. This tuple variable x equals to this tuple, yung variable lang din na una natin dineclare, that operator and then add the method index. And then inside the index would be 8. So, basically class, if you print it, it will return 3. So, 10 nakuha si 3. So, si 3 po ay nakuha kay 8. So, ano po ba ang ginagawa kasi ni index? So, si index, it searches for the first occurrence of a number, like the value of 8, and then binabalik siya sa position niya. So, pang ilan sa position si 8? So, 0, wala kasi akong cursor class. So, ito, 0 si 1, 2 si 3, at 0, 1, 2, 3. So, si 8 po yung pang tatlo. So, pag binilang natin, saan nakalagay or alin yung index location nung occurrence, nung 8 na to, unang nag-occur yung 8 kung may duplicate siya na same value, is pangatlo. So, basically, class, when we say index, from the word itself, indexing, so, base siya sa 0. So, ang count nun. So, halimbawa, ang ilalagay mo dito sa argument niya or condition niya is yung value, not the index location. And then, once na nilagay mo yung value, ilalagay niya yung first occurrence na nakita yung 8 na yan, which is nasa may index location na 3. Kaya 3 po yung naging output. So, I hope that I've cleared that one topic up. And then, the next slides are just exercises that will be included via Google Classroom that you have to accomplish. So, madali lang naman class. Nag-prepare ako ng mga exercises. Check nyo na lang later.